Glenville district, and this you have another. Your
Restaurant.
second location is where?
It's in Midtown of Cleveland, 7228 Euclid Avenue.
All right, and recently opened her second location. Okay. Mary is a health coach. She's a certified fitness trainer, urban farmer, a motivational speaker. And in 2009, after taking control of her health and losing 120 pounds, Mary sought after a natural alternative lifestyle to return to her, or to restore her body's natural flow. And I'm going to ask you so much more about that because I want to
That's all right.
know. Mary is dedicated to providing the tools, education, and resources to help others live a healthier, happier lifestyle. Welcome, Miss
Thank you.
Mary.
Thank you so much for
I'm
having me.
so happy I was able to come this weekend. It was on March 24th. You had your second location grand opening. It was so much fun. I brought my mom and her college roommate, one of her best friends, and we just had a really, really good time. She's actually her friend is an actual Cleveland native. So
Nice.
after she returned back home after she graduated from college. A lot of people don't do that.
Nice.
So
Uh-huh.
anyway, are you originally from Cleveland?
I am born and raised Cleveland, Ohio, from St. Clair.
From St. Clair.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Oh,
can
give
you
me 1 second. Give me one
that's
second. I'm
okay.
sorry, like the police is at my door.
Oh no. I'll edit this out.
Yeah, we just got a sign out for comments area.
Really?
Not, it doesn't have to be this address, just
No, I literally just walked in my restaurant. I
Okay.
wrote a podcast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so no, I didn't see anything funny.
Okay, just make sure you.
Okay, all right, thank you. I am so sorry.
And this is why we're recording.
Yep,
Because
you
we
can
can
edit.
edit this out.
You can edit.
Because if
I
this
was
was live, then I'm like,
like, yeah, I was
girl.
like,
No.
what's going on? Rewind.
Right. So you said you're originally from Cleveland.
Mhm.
Okay, so can you tell me a little bit about how your plant-based journey began?
Yes, thank you for asking because I love telling this story. So, first of all, I was raised in a household with some wonderful parents, and my mom always been like such an amazing. I call her a chef. We call her the best chef in the world, but she taught us how to cook very well, and she also was my first motivation to just get in shape and and just take care of my tempo. She showed us how to do it. We watched my mom lose weight, change her way of
Oh,
eating.
wow.
Yeah. My mother's the first one that lost over 100 pounds. She wasn't counting back then, so I'm sure it was well over 120. And so we watched her transition, and then when I became a heavier person right out of high school, I kind of just used my mom's story and her motivation to get back on track because I honestly, as a kid, I wasn't an overweight person, but I got into vegan because it was like I call it like the accident, right? And I was on my way to a concert with my fiance, and I had made some shrimp. Now I was already eating healthy, but I had made some shrimp at home for us to take on the road. And as I'm eating them, he's like, "Mary, something's wrong." I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?" He's like, "Your face is swelling up." I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
Oh no.
Hives, like from my face all the way down. It just went like here to my neckline. And so he gets off the exit and go and give me Benadryl and all that kind of stuff. We actually still made it to the concert, but that is the day that I said, you know what? That is it. No more meat. No
What
more either. Go ahead.
what do you think that did you do anything differently that might have caused that reaction?
I know
You
exactly
think?
what I did. I was doing too much of something. So what it was is I had a lot of mercury in my body because when you eat shellfish,
Mm,
the mercury, they are in mercury. They are mercury. So when you eat consistently eating it,
mhm.
and it just was too much in my body. And because I had already created vitamin candy and this clean, my temple was so clean, it was just like, okay, girl, we tired of this. move on to something else. And I just went cold turkey vegetarian first. I wasn't vegan at first. And then, like, probably a week into being a vegetarian, I was like, that's it. This isn't for me. I'm just cutting cheese, like literally. I was like, nope, because I didn't like the way that I was feeling with the cheese still. I was like, what is going on here? So I call it my spiritual transition. After that, I never looked back. That was 8 years ago.
And that's the first thing I cut. Dairy was
Cheese?
the first thing I cut.
Okay.
Which people always let go of last, and they go, I don't know how you could do it because I can't let go of cheese. And I don't know if you've seen my little funny video about people having allergies and different things, even though I know some vegans still or plant-based people still suffer with allergies. But a lot of times it's the dairy products. So I let that go first because I kept getting bronchitis. And I used to sing when I lived in DC. I used to sing a lot, and every time, and I also had mold in my apartment.
Oh no!
It was horrible. Yeah, it was a horrible combination.
Wow!
And every single time I caught a cold, I knew that I was going to get bronchitis and then laryngitis. So I remember my dad like preaching, "Dairy is not good." He would always say for Black folks, but dairy is not good for people. Period.
Nope. That's why the animals, just like how our moms nursed us, they need it for their babies to nurse, So yeah, I get it. Like, what the health was enough for me. Like, I didn't even need to see. I had already started that before I even saw that. But when I saw that documentary, it was like, wow, I'm so glad I made the decision.
Saw that too.
I cried.
You know what my first one was?
What's that?
Super Size Me.
Really? I've never even.
That was my first.
That. Yeah, I gotta watch it then.
You never seen or heard of it?
Nope.
Oh man, yeah. So I have been craving this lifestyle since like the early 2000s, like 2006, 2007-ish. And it was a very, very, very slow transition for me. It was first I cut out, because back then nobody was really talking about veganism. It was called vegetarianism, and there were different levels to vegetarianism. And so, but I craved to cut out all animal things. And I watched Super Size Me first, and it was what is his name? I cannot remember the name of the man's name, but I cut out fast food first, and I went total whole food. And so, and I never ate red meat. So, the gentleman that did the documentary, he ate the experiment was crazy, but he ate nothing but McDonald's for 30 whole days.
I did see that. I didn't know it was the name. That was the name of it though. But yeah, I did see that. Yeah, that was horrible.
It was, and he had medical, he had the medical attention the whole time, but that changed my life. That was the beginning. And then I don't know if there was another. That was the beginning, but I lived in the DC area, so I lived around some vegans or vegetarians. We had a restaurant there called Everlasting Life, and it was owned by the Israelites, and they cooked nothing but vegan food, and they would go back and forth to Israel, and they had these pizza pockets that were off the chain. They would have lines out the door.
Oh, anyway, God.
Yeah. Yeah. It was crazy, but so you've already told me exactly what you did for weight loss. That was going to be my next question. What inspired you to open the cafe?
So fast forward, when I changed my lifestyle, it was back in 2000. I started in 2009. I completed my goal in 2010. By 2016, I had already became a certified personal trainer and health coach, and I was prepping food, making juices for my clients that I would let come to my house and train in my basement. And so when I got up enough money after I quit my job, I took all my savings and was like, look, I'm going to open up a personal training studio, because when you teach group fitness, people seem to get lost in the crowd. And I kept watching, and I was like, they need a little bit more personal touch, because I took it very personal, because I know where I came from. And a lot of people that was coming in didn't know my story. They still wouldn't believe that it was me on the picture that they saw, things of that sort. So when I opened my gym, and my clients
opened a gym?
That's my first brick and mortar that I ever had. I had a personal training studio. Personal
I
training
didn't even
studio.
know that.
Yeah. And so I was still doing the meal prep and the juices and everything, but they just weren't keeping up. And the main thing it was for me is they kept saying, well, I'm busy and I'm always on the go. And I just grabbed the first thing, and it's the French fries, or, from McDonald's or Burger King, or they have salads. And I'm like, but you don't know what they put in that stuff. So I
You
was
don't
like,
even
well,
know
my
if they
lease is
really
up.
clean the vegetables properly.
And you don't know what they're frying it in. A lot of big chain restaurants, and I'm not going to name anybody, but they use some of them use beef fat to cook in and stuff like that. You think you're eating a potato, and you really eating beef right with it because they're cooking it in that oil. And so, and not to shame anybody, because whatever you want, that's your situation. But I didn't want my clients to keep feeling like they didn't have a healthier option, grab and go option, when they were out or when they with the kids, the sports events. And summertime is crazy, and we forget about ourselves. And even though I don't have any children, I could still relate because I grew up in a big family, and so it was like, well, what can I do about this? So God put it on my heart to not renew my lease there at the studio and to just go for opening up a grab and go vegan cafe.
Wow. And what year was that?
That was in 2017. I came up with the idea. My lease ended in 2018. And by 2019, I was already in the works. I was, kind of like going around the city looking for a location, trying to find a location to open up. And then I found out about this program in Cleveland called the NTI Incubator Program that the city of Cleveland was doing. You had to do it was like a pitch competition, and you pitch for a space in this urban neighborhood, which is the Glen Village location. And so I was like, well, this is right up my alley. I could pitch for this, and maybe I could get some assistance instead of trying to come up with the money on my own. Because remember, I opened up my studio with my own money, and in the training industry, it's got your peak season, you got your not so good. You're like, oh God, where am I gonna pull this from? Thank God for my fiance, because we were able to put, he was there to help me. But so I pitched, and I didn't win.
I thought you were going. I just knew you were going to go, and I won.
I know that sounded cool. I'm a good storyteller. It sounded real good, right? So,
yes. But that's good. No, I like the way you told it, because it's like, we're like, oh, she's gone. She won it. Okay, but
like, so what happened? So what happened?
And the plot thickens.
The plot thickens. So I didn't win. They didn't choose me. They didn't believe in my concept at the time, because I guess they felt like, well, that particular neighborhood, it wasn't going to be like a good thing. I guess the community wasn't going to be like interested in it. And I'm saying, okay, God, I know you got something up your sleeve. So after that pitch, I kept looking. I talked to many people about partnerships, stuff like that, to try to get it going. I was still saving my money up, still training. I went back to my basement, and I moved in with my trainer at the time. I moved into his studio, his gym. Actually, he had a bigger gym, and he wanted me to come there with him. And I was like, all right, I'll keep training people until I find a space. So that's exactly what I did. But in the midst of it, the city of Cleveland called me back and said, hey, we have somebody that decided that they can't take the space. Would you be willing to pitch? Oh, yeah. Would you be willing to pitch again? I said, sure, why not? So this time I didn't have to do it on a big stage. I went down to the city hall, sat down there with all the executives at the table, at the round table, retold my story, why it was important for the community. And I had just got into urban farming then too. So I was able to kind of elaborate on that, a little bit more of an intimate conversation. And then they were like, all right, it wasn't, I didn't walk out the building fast enough before I got the phone call and said, hey, they want you to have a space. So I moved into Glen. I started, with them with the renovation process, met everybody else, all of my comrades that were there, all the other businesses that were there. And we started planning and plotting to open it up.
Yeah. That is such an inspirational story, especially for anybody that is in or pursuing entrepreneurship. Yeah. So you opened that space in 2017. We hear that story.
No, 2019.
Sorry, you said the journey started in 2017. So it took like, okay. So let me ask you this. So within that 2-year span, did you ever feel like, oh my gosh, I want to give up, or I don't think this is going to happen? Or did you have any of that doubt, creep into your mind? All the things that, we start thinking like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, I don't even know what I'm doing, Did you have any negative self-talk?
No. And you know why? No, because the way I was raised, I always make this joke that I feel like I was reincarnated, right? But I come from a strong background. And my parents taught me to not lay down on anything, don't be afraid of anything. And then all of the jobs that I had prepared me for those moments. Yeah. The last professional job I had, I was a rock mechanics engineer. And I trained interns from all around the world in Cleveland salt mines, 2,000 feet underground, to learn how to shoot distances so that they could blow up the salt and make sure we get salt on the ground, salt that we eat, all that good stuff. And so by that time, I'm a risk taker. I had already been taking so many risks. And I was just like, I'm going to do this with or without you. Like, I'm going to figure out a way because my God never fails me. He lives within me. I don't fear anything. And those affirmations that I created for myself and was given, in the spirit, it's a daily routine. So I never, ever, ever doubted myself, and my foundation is so strong. Never.
That's amazing. That's so inspirational, because I know everybody doesn't come from a background where they have that great support, even if it's not financial, but I'm saying like inside of your family, where people are saying, pushing you to do your best and telling you can do it, even if it's just from your parents. Everybody doesn't have that. So sometimes, the negative comes in because of where we come from, and we have to push past that and push, we have to push through that regardless of where we come from. So it's just really inspirational to still hear that, though. Because I know other people that still have all the support in the world, and they still, I think it's just something that's embedded within us, and it's a choice that we make as Absolutely. Well, to say, hey, I'm going to succeed. Because what was it? Think and Grow? Is it Think and Grow Rich? Where they talk about basically all you need as far as when it comes to the secret to success, whatever your definition of success is, just the will. It's will.
Yeah.
It's will, prayer, will, grace, all of that.
God does not fail. And you know what? Not like I wasn't stressing, it was some stressful times, I didn't have it all figured out, but I'm such a sponge. And whatever I didn't feel like I succeeded at, because I don't even believe in failures. It was just a situation or something. I don't fail at anything. I
believe. Right. And I believe that within everything that we think doesn't work out, it's not about it not working out. It's just like, okay, there's a lesson in this. There's a lesson in this.
Exactly.
It's training.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yes. So as far as now, I was there. We had a great time. I'm hoping I can add some footage to this. We had such a great time. My mom was like, oh my God, this was so fun. I was like, oh, okay, this is old lady fun. We just sit down and we're not walking around and we're not doing sightseeing stuff, but they had such a great time. And then we had the impromptu singing little session. We could have went on forever with that. That was such an intimate, great thing. I love when that happens, when I get together with people I don't really know really well, and it's like, oh my God, we're blending like that. That's amazing. So I'm not from Cleveland, but when I was sitting there, and I think Chef Noel was there at the time, and I was talking to my mom's old roommate, because like I said, she's from Cleveland. I was like, oh God, her two locations are kind of close to each other. I was like, this would never work in Dayton. I said, it just wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. And I was like, she said, so this is what my mom's friend said. She said that the reason that your locations work is because you're serving two different like type of clientele, even though they're within 2 miles of each other, right? So one location serves who in the Cleveland area?
Glenville is, I don't know if you ever heard about any history of Glenville, but it was like the old Gold Coast. So it was like back in the day, it was like the Hollywood. Like this where all of our fine melanated people lived and dressed in suits and these beautiful gowns. And they were like the execs, like they were the big people that lived in this community. So Glenville over the years kind of came like, I don't even like to use this word, but the hood, you know, and you know how that goes. You know how they call our urban neighborhoods the hood, and I think they got away.
I don't
from
even
the fact
know if
that
I like the word urban, to be honest.
That too, because it's just a neighborhood that was created and people loved and embraced and they took care of. It's a lot of people in that community that still own the homes over there, Black people that own the homes over there and everything. And so they were uneducated about what wellness food is. Up and down the street, you got barbecue joints, fish joints, fried chicken, Polish, the worst thing you could think of that's killing our people. And so that community, they just happy to have something different to come to. And then it also duals as like a study place, a study hall for college students that go to Case Western Reserve on the other side, which is Cleworks. You could come in and have a community meeting in there. And then you have the one and only all melanated incubator space where everyone in the building looks like you and individual owners. So that right there alone is attractive to that community. Hey, it's like we can go downtown for real, but we're right here in the heart of our community. We could just walk down the street versus having to pay for parking. And then with Midtown, if you notice, it's a lot of high-rise buildings around, a lot of tall buildings. It's a lot of elderly people that live in this community. This was a big historical place too. It used to be mansions all up and down Euclid. Euclid was just like, now this is where we were able to live at. We couldn't come over here. And so as the years went on, our people migrated this way after Caucasian people moved to the Heights, Cleveland Heights, University Heights, Shaker Heights, Beechwood, and they made it theirs. And this is also a Black historical area, right here where we're sitting at. This building alone, it used to be a place called the Coliseum, where they would have concerts, and people from all the stars would have concerts here. And when they tore it down, because it was so old, it was like an old mansion. Coliseum, I should have showed you that back there. They kept the sign. The sign is actually posted in Foundry Loft. So
you were so busy. You were so busy yesterday. On the 24th, I know what it's like. I knew what it was like to be you, except I don't do food every single day. So one event compared to like, you know, everything that you were doing, I was like, okay, I'm gonna just leave her alone. I surprised her. I tried to surprise her, but I already know once I saw the energy, I was like, oh, huh?
I said I was. You know what it for me, because I am a speaker and I've been on big stages for a long time. And it's like you have to perform regardless. Even though it was my grand opening, I had to make sure my kitchen was being ran right in the back and that everybody was in place and wasn't feeling overwhelmed. My sisters those were my sisters back there helping me. And, you know, so it was like I didn't want them to feel like they were disappointing me. Some of the stuff they didn't remember, you know, because the nerves kicked in, and I just wanted to make sure everybody in here felt the love that I've been trying to bring.
And we did. Trust me. So we did.
So I thank each and every last one of you all for coming. You took time out of your day, all that time with me. I really do appreciate it. I do.
Oh, I just wanted to find a window to come. I had been promising you that I was going to come up there. And the grand opening probably wasn't the best time, but I was like, oh my God, this is a window. So I want to make sure that I make it regardless of when it is, regardless of whether or not you could sit down and actually chat with me or whatever. I just wanted to be there to support. And I was so happy I did. I'm going to get to that. I got 2 bottles of wine and I was like, I'm not opening these until 2025. But, and I got the whites because I'm not really a red person, but the red was really, I tried the Merlot and it was fantastic for it to be a red. And I'm not a red fan. It was really good.
Yeah, most people say that.
Yeah, I'm not a red fan, but I would drink
But
that, and I had to get past the first swig because that first swig for people that don't like red wine or dry wine, and it's not really
Mhm.
dry. It's not as dry as it could be. I've had really dry wine. I'm
Mhm.
like,
Mhm. Right, right,
but
right.
it's got this perfect blend. If
Thank
you're
you.
open to it, yeah, it was
Thank you.
really good, really good. But first, before we go to your wine, I wanted to touch on something because you talked about our health. This is what I'm about to talk about is a very touchy subject in the
Okay.
vegan plant-based space.
Mhm.
So I don't know, and we've never talked about this, you and I. You just mentioned about how in our communities we have a lot of unhealthy food around us.
Mhm.
And in the vegan community, technically speaking, when it comes to what the definition of veganism is, they say it's all about
Yeah.
the animals, right? So people
Yep.
get upset when they go, oh, you guys are using, it's the word vegan is being commercialized. And if you're not doing it for the animals, you're not really vegan. And it's like,
Mm.
I just want okay. So this is where my mother of eating comes in because I wanted to marry the two
Nice.
worlds to where we can just learn to have a good time. Because most of the time, all we do is, where do you want to go? Where's this vegan restaurant? Is there any vegan restaurants? That's all. And not to say we love doing that, but that can't be it. We can't stop having fun. We can't stop. You know what I mean? Can't stop.
Mhm.
I was. Let me just say this. I was raised in the Pentecostal church. Okay,
Okay.
very strict, no earrings, no pants, no this, no that. And it's like, as soon as people started going to church, back when I was a teenager, all the fun stopped as soon as
Mm.
people became quote unquote Christians. So, not to say that the plant-based or vegan community doesn't like to have fun, but for some reason it just seemed like there's such a scarcity when it comes to events or just things for us to do. Like, I know for me, I stopped getting invited to family functions, or, they would invite me and didn't think about me at all. And of course, you just learn to just pack your own food. No big deal. And then you get to
Mhm.
some place and then it's like they're offended that you packed your food. It's like it's not
Yeah.
personal. It's just that we don't want to put anybody out. We're just, this is how I eat. I've had people tell me, hey, come, I have vegan food. And then you go and there's like cheese all in it. And you're like, they're like, it's vegetarian. It's like, this is not the same. This is why we pack our own
Yeah.
food, because
Yep.
we have to take care of ourselves. And, a lot of people don't do the research enough, to understand our lifestyle. So,
Mhm.
um, my question to what you have brought up, let me just say this. I feel that even though I went vegan or I went plant-based for my health first, is because of everything that you said as far as like what we are exposed to and how we eat a lot of fried foods, you're frozen. A lot of fried foods, and hopefully you'll come back because you're frozen right now. Mary, are you there? I've gone places and people will say plant-based and then there's still some dairy in there, like, traces of, like, Boca, for instance. I hate to sorry, had to say their name. I went to a restaurant that had Boca burgers and they had like traces of um in this particular burger that they had some traces of dairy in there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And yeah. So, but this restaurant, they got rid of Boca burgers too. So I think a lot of vegans probably, or plant-based people, complain once they started to see the ingredients. And I don't think that it was like the restaurant's fault.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Red Robin, I'll just say it. Because I go to Red Robin. Now they have Impossible. But anyway, so I think the wonderful thing about what I'm doing is I'm trying to, like I said, marry the parties in the sense of, like, I believe in balance.
Yeah,
I believe in balance.
absolutely.
So it's just about us coming together and having a good time and creating events where we can feel safe to where we can eat our food and have a good time, period. Um, and for me, even though I didn't go vegan or go plant-based initially for the animals, there are certain things that just kind of happen by default that I started paying attention to. Like, yeah, like when you came to the Vegan Foodie Choice Awards, and that's another thing I wanted to say. Mary is, or Vitamin Kandie is, the runner up in, what was it?
The food options, vegan food options.
No, it couldn't have been vegan food options. You're 100% vegan, aren't you?
Yeah, but I believe it was vegan food options. Yep, the vegan food options.
Huh.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look. I'm gonna have to look that. I'm gonna have to look that up because I really don't. I think it was best vegan cuisine.
Okay. I could totally be wrong. You created this event, so you're probably 100% right.
No, only because I was like, okay, I wanted to make sure that I researched these places before I just like start tagging, So, but anyway, can you speak to what I was just saying? So I remember when you were accepting your award, and I complimented you on your skirt. You said it's vegan leather.
It is.
Yeah, it was vegan leather. So I'll just say that to any of the diehard for animals only vegans out there, if you're listening to this, we the ones that do it for our health first, a lot of us end up, the animals end up mattering to us. We are learning things by, I don't want to say default. It's at the end of the day, I think that everybody should be thankful that animals are being saved, no matter how you come in. You know what I mean?
Right.
And not to be so quick to judge or criticize and try to delabel and say that we're not vegan because we didn't go and do it for the animals first or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to create peace and balance, and that, I want everybody to feel welcome. But do you have anything that you would like to speak to when it comes to those? I don't want to say they're different worlds. They're not really different worlds. It's just, the introduction is for two different reasons. But we as like you said, melanated people, especially here in this country, and how our diet came to play, beginning in slavery, and the things that we held on to because of tradition.
Yeah.
We had to learn to let go of certain things. So can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, I honestly, for me, I don't look at vegan being just, like PETA, for instance. If you choose to stop eating animals and animal products, you are vegan. And that's just because society, whoever created this word vegan, it became a title and it got a trend and it took off. But it's people that haven't even touched meat forever never in their lives. And they may like to wear leather pants, or they may, have had on some, cotton jeans, or whatever the case may be. It's like, you can't be the judge of how people choose to live their lifestyles. That's their personal business. But if they're like PETA driven and, and all that kind of stuff, and, and they're out here pushing it, animal activist thing, then, hey, do you? But I don't think that vegan should be such a tight, secured word that others can't make vegan what they want it to be. Like, if they don't eat meat and they don't,
Right. I just, like I said, and I personally don't have a problem with people that are really fighting to rescue animals. I don't.
Me either.
I don't.
Yeah, me.
Because I feel like we need that. I mean, because animals are being tortured. Animals are the things that I have learned since being in this lifestyle since 2011. And the things, I mean, without those crusaders out there, but like I said, there has to, I personally feel like we have to have some balance. And
I agree.
Sometimes some of the things that I've come across, or some of the people that I've come across, are so like, I'll just say this. And this might be a very dangerous word that I'm about to say, but there are extremists in every sect in life.
Uh-huh.
It could be, and I try to stay away from religious type of but I think that, I mean, you can be an extremist when it comes to junk food.
Right, that's true.
You can be extremist when it comes to, Christianity. You can be an extremist when it comes to, like, we got these Middle Eastern wars, So I don't want to go off on a tangent on that, but I just wanted, because you were talking about how you wanted to make a difference in your neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And, bring it to college, to people of all walks of life, but especially, like you said, seniors, and to people of color, which I really, really, really love. So let's talk about your vegan wines.
My baby, oh my goodness. I didn't even know that I was going to get into that type of industry. I always know I wanted to help people on a different level.
Mm-hmm.
And just to piggyback off the point you just made about, the animals and stuff, I really do. I love animals. I really do care about them and, how they're treated. Every living being on the planet Earth has a feeling.
Yes.
And I don't think that they should be tortured like that.
Yes.
But so the wine, I really got into that when I met my farming partners. I'm not sure if you are familiar with Riddle Urban Farms here in Cleveland.
I'm not.
They are like the matriarch of urban farms. Like they're like number one across the nation, and they are amazing. And they teach about agriculture world and how to get into all these different types of growing, what it means, And once we got into farming, we met some partners there, and it was like 6 couples. So me and my fiance, and we had, other people that was involved, and we had this amazing meeting. And it got so great. It became spiritual. We were shedding tears and everything like that. But everyone in this group brought some type of special talent.
Mm-hmm.
And that is where I met my friend, Nakia Hudson, the owner of Two You Wines, Two You Wines Winery. She was creating a wine, and she had brought some of the wine for us to try. I brought juices, et cetera, et cetera. And I asked her, I said, have you ever thought about making a vegan wine? And she goes, what are you talking about?
Like, I thought wine was already vegan, right? Is that what she thought?
Yeah, like, wine is vegan. It's great. So I was like, no, it isn't. And she was like, well, why isn't it? So I was like, well, I've done my research, and I found out that, wine contains egg whites to keep it clear, to, make it clear and make it stay, keep the bubbles out. Otherwise, it would be champagne. Have you ever been to a winery or you watched the video about how they make the wine with the grapes? You got to crush them down and they come, the suds. It'll start to set up and it's like bubbles, like champagne. And so she goes, you absolutely right. And she was like, oh, I love a challenge. Let me work on this. And I'm going to get my wheels turned. I'm going to get back to you. So she did. That led into coming to a wine tasting a bunch of flavors. And we ultimately decided on almond Merlot, which was the combination that I created. Because she, of course, gave me like an assessment type of sheet and was like, fill this out. Tell me what you think about it, what other flavors you would like, how to combine it to make it come into the vitamin candy world. And Merlot was the first one I came up with. And the way she created it with me was using the clearing agents as the flavor as the actual clearing agent.
Okay.
So that she didn't have to use egg whites.
Amazing. Because I also heard about fish and pork.
Yep.
And I guess it depends on the wine, like whether it's a Merlot or a Chardonnay or a, depending on, I'm saying outside of the vegan world, they put, it could egg whites, fish, or what I say, pork. I've heard pork as well.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All fats. All facts.
Wow.
All facts. And that even made me think about, when I say I tasted her wine was amazing. I couldn't believe it tasted so good, but I was a little apprehensive because previously, when we would do our date nights, right? And he know I was a wine drinker, and I was like, I can't drink this anymore because I feel like every time I have some wine, I wake up with a headache the next day. Why am I having a headache? And that was the reason why, because I was already vegan.
Right.
And I'm up here putting egg whites in my body and didn't even know I was doing that.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like, hey, girl, what's going on? What you doing to me? This is not what we do.
And what's funny is that, the longer, for me, and because I have a really strong sense of smell and taste, once I went vegan, I've been vegan for so long, I could actually taste the pork and the fish. Oh, wow. Not necessarily the egg whites. You could taste those elements. Like, you could just taste it. It's like, it's something that you just can't shake. I don't know how, you know what I mean? There's just certain things you know what pork, if you've ever eaten pork bacon, you know what pork tastes like. If you ever have fish, there's just this distinct taste that it has. And it's not like really heavy, but the longer, if you have a really strong sense of smell or strong, not olfactory because that's smell, but your taste buds are really strong, you'll be able to kind of like go, this isn't vegan. I can taste it. Right. That's cool. So tell me a little bit about Black and Pink Honors. Or Pink and Black. Sorry, I said that backwards.
So my really good friend, Tenora Mia, and one of my mentors, she has been helping. She's been a pillar in the Cleveland community for many years, and she's been like helping other entrepreneurs along the way, but behind the scenes. And she's always throwing these amazing events where, she honors a lot of people around the community. And she's like the entrepreneur guru, right? And she has this nonprofit organization called the Pink Party. And when she decided to launch her consultation business, which is Tenora Mia, she decided to come up with the Pink and Black Honors, where she honors a bunch of, honest entrepreneurs, multicultural entrepreneurs from around Ohio, and really the city of Cleveland in particular, because, she just wanted to give back in a way to show her appreciation and to let others see those who may not have had the opportunity to be introduced and know all the things that they're doing for the community behind the scenes. In collaboration, she's got a lot of the big name companies like the city of Cleveland and, and all that stuff to come in and just kind of sponsor events to where they can buy a table, buy a few tickets to this black tie event, to network, and also see these wonderful, amazing people that are doing so many things that they just don't know about. And that saying that, like, if you don't know, you don't grow. And some of us just are afraid to reach out to what may be a great connection.
Right.
Especially these entrepreneur companies like Jumpstart, the Cleveland Urban League, which is all over. Like, these people service not only Cleveland, they do it in Cincinnati, Columbus, they do it in Dayton. They're everywhere. And so she's using, this platform of hers to honor entrepreneurs, and you can sponsor anywhere starting from $500 all the way up to whatever you want to give. And I believe we sent you some information in the email, just kind of like breaking it down. Yes. But we're looking for people to just sponsor the event, sponsor the tables. Your name will be on the flyer. It will be announced during the programming, and also. If you don't want to show up, you can just purchase 2 tickets, to get to someone else if you want to give back, and stuff like that. But it's an opportunity to network, meet a lot of great, amazing people. Yes. And we also have some celebrity guests that will be there that you will get a chance to,
I saw Hill Harper. Did I see Hill Harper?
Hill Harper is going to be attending. Damon from Shark Tank is going to be attending.
Damon John?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Some of us say Damon, some say David, but yeah, David John, and he'll be there. And we have our wonderful, wonderful, wonderful news anchor and definitely a huge pillar in our community here in Cleveland, Danita Harris, who is the master's ceremony.
Okay.
And so, and that's not even all. It's going to be some surprises in there, but yeah, they are the headliners. Mm-hmm.
Amazing. So, as we wrap up, can you tell us how we can get in touch with you on social media or your website? Also, before you give that, can you spell the name of the farm that you were talking about? You said Riddle?
Riddle. So it's RIDALL.
Okay.
Urban Farm.
Urban Farms. Yeah, I want to definitely look that up.
One of the family members, it's a family. Their uncle created the farm, and they just all kind of got together and helped him out. And he since passed away. I can't remember what he passed away from because the story is still kind of new to me. Because I've only known them for about, I think this is going to the year 3. So this is year 3. And so I'm just, I'm still getting information, but he was a huge pillar in the Cleveland area too. And so they kept the farm going and they just turned it into this amazing, amazing community. It's one of the most spiritual places that you can go. I would love for you to come down and visit them. He was actually here, Timothy Lewis. He was here when you were here, but he stepped out because he had to go back, to the farm.
Oh.
Yep, he was here.
I would have loved to have met him. Yes.
So, I'll connect you.
So how can we get in touch with you on social media? And what platforms are you on? What's your website? All that. Give us all of that.
Okay, so I could be contacted at vitamincandy.com. Once you click on the link, that's my website. That's spelled VITIMANKANDIE. And it's spelled totally wrong, but it's spelled that way on purpose for trademark, and I want it to be unique. You can find all the information, the links to my other contacts, like my social media, my email, phone numbers. And you can also follow me on Instagram at The Kandie Cafe. That is for the restaurants. And you can find me under VK Wines for the vegan wine. The same names are also on Facebook, on Twitter, and on TikTok. And everything is just kind of like combined together. And my phone number is 440.
Okay. Oh.
37. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's real. Okay, I thought she was being funny. Go ahead.
Oh no, this is my business line. No,
I don't know what I was thinking. I was like, that's right. She has a brick and mortar.
On there too, so it's like a pre-recording before you even get to talk to anybody that answers.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
So it's 440-373-7618. That is the business line. That's how you get in contact with Vitamin Candy if you have any questions. If I don't answer myself, it'll be my assistant or one of my assistant managers that will talk to you. I want to put in a shameless plug here. I am also hiring. I'm looking for a marketing manager for social media. I am looking for anybody from just like basic cleaning to lead cooks. I need one more assistant manager and I need one more cashier. So if you're interested, go to vitamincandy.com and apply.
All right. So this has been amazing. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to talk. I have so much in the works. It's not even a joke. Like I can't really talk about it a whole lot right now, but I just know that there's memberships and there's going to be ambassador opportunities for others to host our events across the country.
Nice.
That's what I'm working on right now. And I would love, this is what I'm trying to work out. Once, like I said, I'm there's so much going on, and you know what it's like to run a business, to open a business, to have an idea, to, then getting coaching, and then, going through. So that's the kind of stuff that I'm going through right now to get everything together. I'm working on my marketing funnels, but once I saw that you had your vegan wine line, I was like, oh my God, I have got to incorporate this line into our events. So I'm working on all of that now. And
Appreciate that.
I don't want
Yeah.
to keep saying, I'm going to do this and we're going to, until I have it to where I'm like, okay, boom, here's a contract. Can you fulfill this? That type of thing. Because there was one event that I tried to do, but the young lady unfortunately didn't understand what I did as far as when it comes to hosting events. And I was trying to just host her or rent her space.